name is Amy Protscher, and today we're going to disassemble the solo piano style of the late great Dave McKenna, one of the unsung heroes of jazz piano. Dave derived a unique style that stems from stride piano. Stride originally was the alternating playing of a bass note and a 3 or 4 part chord in the mid-range. You get the idea. And of course this gives a sort of oompa effect. And what Dave did, he modified this so it would sound more like 4-beat swing. So to this end, he took up the bass note a little so it wasn't so far down on the bass. And he played a wide position chord instead, usually consisting of root and third forming a 10th, as in, or a 7th, as in this case. 10th, 7th, and so forth. And of course those 10ths are hard to reach for some, so you can also arpeggiate. Also gives a pretty decent sound that way. In fact, it adds to the rhythmic swing and bounce. So, in the right hand, you can play a regular 8th note patterns as you normally would, or you can play like Errol Garner style octaves, or even block chords. It's totally up to you. You can also add to the stride effect by judiciously using the pedal. And of course you can also expand those 10ths by playing a 5th in between, or the 9th with it, or the 3rd with it, which is kind of hard to finger. 3rd and 7th. So, if we apply this to a tune, well, Dave mostly played like that when he was doing ballads or slower material. You get something like the next approach that Dave was taking was for material that is a little bit more upbeat. He would take the same voicings that we had just now with the root and the 7th and 3rd, and play these, strum these like a guitarist would, like Freddie Green in Count Basie's band. As a 7th, 10th, 7th, 10th. You'll notice I used my right hand because my left hand is not big enough. I have smaller hands than Dave. And so I had to find a modification to make it possible to use this with one hand only. And that is, I'll play the bass note on the beats 4 and 2 and the chord consisting of the third and seventh on all 4 downbeats. You can also switch and play the 5th in the bass to add a little bit for variety, or you can change the 7th to the 6th, or in general the idea is to vary the chord that you'll be arpeggiating like every half measure for variety. Guitarists during the swing period used a very similar approach. So you get and so forth. So let's apply this to a tune. Good. So, you'll notice that the right hand played a very distinct 8th notes. So I wasn't going legato like, but I was putting little emphasis on every offbeat, and I was leaving a little bit of space between each and every note. So it comes out more like a horn line. And that's the way Dave was playing. And of course I also added these Errol Garner style octaves and some block chords, but Dave wasn't necessarily doing that. But in any case, it's a nice effect to use along with this. Also watch out that the left hand doesn't play too loud, otherwise it becomes very heavy and doesn't swing a lot. So don't go, but you keep it light. Also accentuate beats in the bass, like go. And so forth. The third approach that we'll be talking about is the walking bass line. And Dave was playing it usually very far down on the piano in the bottom like 2 octaves. This I played pretty much legato, but also here Dave would very frequently add a little space between the notes. And also he would add kicks that he played with a thumb that serve like as a forward momentum to the rhythm, and these kicks were placed much like a snare drum player would emphasize an offbeat. So you get the following sound. Yeah, of course then our left hand is too far down to still play chords. You can occasionally add in the left hand, add a seventh. But that's about it. So the main duty for keeping the chords going is in the right hand. To do this, you need to keep the melody as long as it rests in one of the back fingers, like the third, fourth and fifth finger, and then use your thumb and forefinger to play a rudimentary chord. So you go like this. And so forth. You only need to suggest a few tones. The mind will conjure up the rest. Leave that up to the listener. And also watch out that you don't play the chords too loud. They mustn't overpower the melody and be heard as two separate entities. The melody is the loud thing and the chords are the soft thing. So we play a tune like that, and I'll play walking bass line in the left hand, and I'll play chords plus melody in the right hand. And to do this, I also employed a few other stylistic devices that Dave would frequently use. Like, you go from a regular swing phrasing to straight eighths, or almost straight eighths in the right hand, in order to suggest speeding up, rhythmic momentum. Swing is more relaxed. As straight eighths kick in, you get a forward momentum. I play 8 bars swing phrasing, 8 bars straight eighth. Of course, you can then also employ the octaves again. You can employ block chords. You can do pretty much anything that you want. If you play block chords, then you might as well skip out any other chords that you play in the right hand, because the block chords will be enough. Like, very effective on slower tunes. And the last thing that I would like to talk about is tempo changes that Dave would frequently be doing. You can come out of a stride piano slow part, So I went from slow to fast by means of a break, and I went from fast to slow by just playing a strong 4 and use that as the pivot point. So that's about it for today, and I thank you for listening, and just keep swinging.